Hello everyone. In this video we're going to learn three things. We're going to learn how to make our own Kahoot, number one. Number two, how to play the Kahoot with the class. And number three, how to find more Kahoots online. So let's start with the first one here, how to make our own Kahoot. Now first of all, of course, you need to make an account on the website. It's totally free. You can access most of the features that's available. And so I'm going to walk you through this from the very beginning. So let's say, for example, so I already created an account. So what do I need to do? Where do I need to go? I'm going to click over here to log in, up here in the corner. I'm going to log in. Sorry about my internet being a little bit slow right now. I think it's fine. Okay, so this is my home page then. So if I want to create a new Kahoot, I'm going to click over here on this blue button that says Create. So I clicked on that. Now, whenever you see this little icon here with the crown, that means it's a premium feature that requires you to pay. So since I have a free account, I can't use these other features that are available. So I'm going to click over here and say Create. So it will take you immediately to your Kahoot screen here. This is where all the magic happens. This is where you write all your questions, write your answers, and everything. So let's say, for example, I'm going to write my question here. I'm going to say, this is just off the top of my head, did you find this video helpful? And then down here at the bottom, I can write my answer. Yes, no, and let's say I still need more help. Now, we're not completely done there. You need to click on which one is considered the appropriate response. For quiz type questions, you can have multiple answers, basically. So let's say, for example, I don't only have yes, I can also consider no, and I still need more help as correct answers that the student will receive points for, or the viewers will receive points for. Okay? If I only wanted to have one correct answer, we can do that as well, of course. I can just click one of them. But I'm going to click all of them. They're all fine. Now, another thing I want to point out here is the time limit. So you can see here that the time limit for this question is 20 seconds. I can change it. We can change it to, there's different amounts of time available here. I would recommend for your class, though, to stick between 10 to 30 seconds. Even long questions, like the students are able to respond to them within 30 seconds. Beyond that, and it becomes just too long. So since this is a very quick and easy question, I'm going to make it 10 seconds. Now, another thing you might have noticed here as well is you can see screenshots of the different slides here. Okay. Now, you can even see, what's really nice about Kahoot is that you can even see the time limit for each individual slide. So I don't have to click on each individual slide and to find out how much time I allocated for that particular slide. I can see quickly at a glance how much time is allocated. So in this particular case, I can see a 10 written there. So that 10 is your time limit. I can also see the questions, and these green dots indicate where your correct answers are. So that's helpful because sometimes, for example, you might tend to put your correct answer in the same place, or you might be following a pattern accidentally, or so on like that. So when you can see these green dots at a glance, it helps you to break up any patterns that you might have. You can also add an image to your question. They have an image library there, but it's not particularly helpful, so I would recommend just sticking to Google Images and uploading an image if you like. Okay? Now then, let's make another question here. So I'm going to click Add Question. Now we only have two question types available as free users. We have the quiz type, which is the one we just made right now, and we have the true/false. The quiz type allows you to have multiple answers that are accepted, while the true/false, of course, you can only choose between true or false. I can't click on both. Okay, So let's say, for example, here's just another question off the top of my head. Kahoot is hard. I'm going to say false as my only correct response that students will receive points for. And then that's pretty much it. Kahoot is actually really easy to use. Now you can change the points. You can give double points for correct answers, or you can give no points at all. But I recommend just sticking to the default because the students are pretty competitive and everyone likes to see who's winning, who has a winning streak, and so on. So just keep it on the default there, standard. Now, once I'm ready to go and I'm all done with my Kahoot, you need to click on the Done button here. And we need to put our title. So I'm just going to say Kahoot. I can also type the title up here, by the way. And I'll say then continue. Now it's just validating it. By the way, with Kahoot, it will automatically save your slides as you create them. So even if your computer shuts down, you lose internet or anything, don't worry. Your slides will be automatically saved. So you don't have to worry about if you didn't get a chance to click done, if you're going to lose all your work or not. Don't worry. It will still be there. So we have our Kahoot is all done. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click on done. Let's say, for example, if I created the Kahoot, the night, like a couple of days in advance or so on. So this is what's going to happen then. So now let's say, for example, I'm ready to play my Kahoot with the class. So I'm going to go ahead then and I'm going to click on play. If I still want to make some changes to the Kahoot, I can click on edit and I can make the changes. But since I'm ready to go, I'm going to say play. Make sure also, by the way, that your Kahoot is visible to everyone so your students can see it. Because if it's only set to you, your students will not be able to play your Kahoot. So make sure that your Kahoot is set to visible for everyone, to everyone. So I'm going to click play now. Now, if you're ready to play it with the class, click on teach. You can also do a test drive with your Kahoot by clicking on practice. But I will show you in this video what will happen when you actually test drive the Kahoot with your class. So let's go ahead and let's click on teach. It's just loading here. Okay. So just keep the default settings. You don't really need to modify anything there. As you can see, you can play with up to 50 players here. I'm just going to click on Classic. Now, this is where the magic happens. So when you want to play your Kahoot with the class, tell your students to visit this website here, kahoot.it. Then your students need to type in this number here. They can also play with the Kahoot app, but I found that the vast majority of students play with it via the computer. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to type kahoot.it. And we're going to take this number and we're going to type it in. So this is what the students will need to do. They have to visit kahoot.it, type in that number that we had for the game, and say enter. Once they do that, tell your students to type in their real name. Don't put a nickname in, put their real name. So I'm going to say Fatima here. And OK, go. Now, once I've done that, I will see my name appear on the screen here. So as your students log into your game using the game pin, you're going to start seeing their names appear on the lobby page. And this number will increase. Right now it's just me, so there's only one person there. And once we're all ready to go, we can click on Start. So this is a quiz type question. So we can click on any one of these responses that we have here. Okay. If I had an image, it would show that image here. One other thing I want to point out is you might want to mute the music while the students are playing the game because a lot of them find it very distracting. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to mute it there. Now, this is another very nice feature about Kahoot that I haven't seen on other websites. I've been digging around and trying to find other alternatives to Kahoot because I don't want to Kahoot them to death, of course. But I haven't found anything that's as good as Kahoot where the entire class can play at the same time. If anyone knows of another alternative, please let me know. All right. So let's say, for example, if we had several students in the class, it will give you immediate feedback on their responses. So let's say, for example, maybe 10 people said yes, and 5 people said no, and 3 people said, I still need more help. You can see that immediately, as well as the students, because you're going to share the screen. So let's say we're ready to go to the next question, so we're going to click on Next. If you wanted students to respond to a picture or you wanted to discuss the picture some more, if you included a photo, click on Show Media, and it will display the picture. Since I didn't include a picture, it just has this default one. So let's click on Next now. So every time you click Next, it will show the scoreboard here. We're going to have a leaderboard. And the points are allocated based on, of course, answering the question correctly, but also based on how quickly the student responds. And it will show a few students here on the leaderboard, as well as anyone who has a winning streak. So even if you're not in the top 5, for example, if you have a winning streak, it will mention that student's name then, for example. Let's say, for example, that Said has a winning streak of 3. Or it will say something like, Ahmed is on fire. He has 7 correct answers in a row, and so on. So that helps keep the students motivated. So this is our second question, the true or false. So we can click on true or false there. And I'm just going to go ahead and click on skip now. Okay, and let's go to the very end. So once you've completed the Kahoot, it will show your winners, your first, second, and third place winners. And of course, you can talk up the game a little bit. You can get the students really into it by pretending to be an announcer, for example. You can have the students also practice reading numbers by having them read out the scores, for example, and so on. And then after that, this is another very nice feature where you can see which questions were difficult for the students. You can see how many of the questions students responded to correctly. You can get feedback and so on. And all of this is free. So let's say if I wanted to view the report that's there. My internet is very slow. I apologize for that. So you can see, now if you take a look here, you can see who needs help on that question and who didn't respond. So that's also very helpful. And then you can see which questions students found difficult. Okay, so that's how to make a Kahoot. So let's move on to the second thing then, which is how to play your Kahoot with your class, which we did right there. And then finally, the third point I want to discuss then is how to find more Kahoots online. Now to do that, all you need to do is click on Discover. And in this box here, you can type in the topic that you're looking for. So let's say, for example, I'm going to look for a Kahoot on the past tense. So you'll see that there's tons of Kahoots here. You can see also which ones might be one of the better ones based on the number of players that it has and so on. And you can see how many questions the Kahoot contains. So let's say, for example, I'm working on irregular verbs, irregular past tense verbs. So I'm going to click on this one. This one looks really good. It has 317,000 players, 16 questions. Sounds pretty good. So let's click on that one. Now, if I want to add this Kahoot to my collection, I'm going to click on duplicate. I can duplicate it. I can add it to a collection if I have a collection in my among my Kahoots, or I can favorite it. Generally speaking, though, I like to duplicate them because then I can edit them, I can change the photos, I can change the time limit. As you can see, this person made each question 60 seconds, which is way too long. So if I duplicate it, I can go and edit it, and I can bring this down then to 10 seconds, for example. I can also check the work and make sure everything is correct by clicking on Show Answers here, and it will show what the answers are. You can see that this one is the correct answer, and I can see all the options that are available, which is really good. So this looks like a good one, so I'm going to go ahead and duplicate it. It's going to take me back now to my collection of Kahoots, and there it is, duplicate of irregular past tense verbs. Of course, I can go and change the title here, of course. Now, pay attention to this. See how it's saying visible to only you? So if I want to play it with the class, I need to make sure that it's set to everyone. There we go. Now I want to edit this Kahoot as well, so I'm going to click on Edit. And now we can see all the questions that are available. So like we said, 1 minute is way too long for this question here. I'm going to change it to 10 seconds. And I can go and keep doing that for each question here then. Bring that down to 10 seconds. I can change the picture. I can change the answers here, and so on. You can make all the modifications that you want. And then once you're done, you can click on Done. And we're going to say Done there. And that's it. And that's basically how to make a Kahoot, how to play your Kahoot with your class, and how to find more Kahoots online. So I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any other questions, feel free to ask.